Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on Ark Survival Ascended, and in this video I'm going to show you my top 10, well honestly it's a lot more than top 10, best places to have a PVE base over on Ragnarok. I'll try and avoid showing you some of the cave bases, because obviously cave bases are fun, but not as useful in PVE. And I'm going to show you some like alpha plats and things like that, just so you can kind of get a good idea. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start off. I know I just said I wasn't going to do cave bases with my favorite PVE base location in the entire game, and that is this region right here at 22.7, 31.7. If you go inside of this cave right here, yes, I mean inside of the cave, there is a really cool cave. It can be okay for PvP purposes, but it's kind of hard to use for PvE or PvP. So PvE is a lot better because you have a lot of access to really cool stuff. Now, just real quick, this is early access to organic polymer, those little plants right there. You got metal in here, you got all the resources you need, you have a ton of room, you have deep enough water to raise a moza and pop out some high level, whatever you want in there. The entire cave is a super nice area to build. And it's neat. There's enough light in here because there's like a light source in the ceiling, and it's just a fun cave to have access to. So I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It's just a good overall cave. So that's kind of my favorite spot in any game mode to build in. But it's just, I don't know, I like it. You can also build some cool stuff out front. So that is my main area over here. Now I'm going to show you a not cave one right near it that I also love to build. This is, you can call it jungle plat, you can call it whatever you want. But at the chords of 20.9, 27.6, up on top of this little area right here, there's some neat stuff. So why I say neat stuff is because you've kind of got like a man-made plateau, even though it's not. It's basically perfectly flat for a majority of it. Like there's no major like bumps all over the place. So you can have a lot of really neat things. This whole thing is buildable. And it's just a good spot to have because you have access to water on this backside. It's deep enough water to technically raise anything inside of, and it's just a massive area. Now, for people that like to build, it's very flat. It does have like a few small slants, but it's nothing major that you can't overcompensate with like one or two foundation changes. So a really cool place that you can build. I love it. It's just because it's on top of everything. It's close to all kinds of resources nearby. That's why I love building in this area. Now, those are my two favorite bases over kind of in like the Vikings Bay area. I'm going to go north first and kind of, I guess, the north area first and circle around the outside. There's lots of plats that you can build on over here, but I like to have a little bit more custom cave locations than just like flat plateaus. I like to build, I'm going to show you, this is a neat one. So if you can see right here, right, there's a triple waterfall cave that's beneath me right here. You can build inside of it in PvE. It's just not necessarily my favorite to build inside of on PvE because it's really just a PvP style base, but it is really, really cool. Now, the chords, just so you can see it, are right here, 27.4, 47.9. And if you like cave bases, this is a really cool one to have access to because, again, you got water, you have a massive area, it's completely flat to build in. There are two entrances. You've got like a flying entrance and a walk-up entrance, which is this one right here, so you can like walk up the side over here. And you got a lot of room on the outside as well. So this is triple waterfall. It's a really cool cave that you can build in, plenty of space, lots of everything you can need. But again, I'm trying to avoid showing you all the cave bases, so I like this one right over here. Now, this is a little bit of a weird one, so keep it in mind. I like this pillar. Not a lot of room, so you have to build really well, but the reason I like it is it's between two beaver dam spawns. I just think that's really cool to have a base in that region. And because it's kind of like a raised area, it's still a fun enough area. Now, you're not going to have a massive base in this location, obviously, but you can build quite a few walls, pillars, foundations, whatever you need in order to make a really neat base here. Now, it's up to you how you do it, obviously, but I don't always like having massive swaths of land. I like the cool areas, and because you have access to beavers on both sides, it's just easy to get cementing paste, which can be a pain in the butt, especially for PvE players. So I highly recommend this one. There's the chords just so you can see it, 24.5, 44. Now, next up. Now, I'm not going to show you this one. I like building in this area, but again, not my favorite just because, I don't know, it just feels weird in this one. I don't know why it feels weird. It just does. This is like a cave location with a little bit of metal on the inside. It's a neat location, but again, because it's kind of, I don't know how to say it, just doesn't quite feel big enough or small enough. It's just a weird size base with lots of weird size walls. And here you go, 20.1, 48.1. It's kind of a cool little cave, but I would not call it anything super special. So definitely can utilize this, but again, up to you if you want to use a cave, something like that. All right, so we're going to keep moving on, and we're going to go over, should I go over there first? Nah, I'm going to go this way first. If you want, I don't like building in this zone. There is a lava cave down beneath us, not going to show you it because I want to move over to one of my favorite spots in the game, and that is this guy right here. This is one of the flattest locations in the Highlands. It is a massive cliff face on the backside, so you don't have to worry about, a lot of weird stuff going on. It's just a fun little area to build. Plus, you've got a neat little walk-up pathway with lots of flowers. Looks super cool. You're right next to the Wyvern Scar, so you should be able to do some neat things. There's pyromanes nearby. You have access to all the resources that you could need. You're not kind of out of the way a little bit, but you have a lot of space to build. Plus, you have a giant plateau if you want to build out there. I don't know. I just like it. You also have access to a water well on this backside. So yeah, just a fun spot to build. Big fan of it. 19.2, 70.1. And that's probably my favorite overall old school base location for PvE. Now, if you want to build in a cave, you can go over here in this area right here. And there is a Highlands cave that you can build in at 18.3, 78.8. Pretty cool, small, not super massive, but you do have a massive water pool in here that will give you access to pretty much raise anything you want inside of the water. So that's always a plus, obviously. Yep, but that's a fun little spot. Now, I like this new island. The entire thing is just a giant field, and I love it. I'm not sure where I would want to build in this zone because everywhere is a buildable area. I like the areas near these lighthouses. I do like the area on top of this plateau. This is a brand new island, so I will probably build a couple of PvE bases here. But of all of the areas, this is a neat one just because it's mostly flat, not perfectly, but mostly on top of the plateau out here at the chords of 6.7, 87.6. This is a brand new one. I like this spot a lot. It is way out of the way of everything, but if you're okay with that, it doesn't matter too much. And then this one over here, having your own island like Herbivore Island or Carno Island on Island is just a fun thing to have access to. I like this a lot because it's just a big old swath of land. You can have access to lots of deep water. You've got plenty of room, so you don't need to worry about people coming to troll you. It's just a fun thing. Now, the only negative about this spot is it's way out of the way. So it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to go get things, but it's a cool one if you have access to some of the other things that are kind of, not hard to get. Teleporters, i.e. All right. Now, another cool location that just showed up because this island just got built is over here next to Red Ob, and this is a super neat one. There are two over here. One, again, on top of the mountain. I like on top of the mountain builds just because they're fun. And the reason that this one's kind of cool is because it's got a mountain, but on top of it, it's just a giant pillar. Right over here, you've got a bunch of flat land. Now, the chords of this, 44.9, 91.4. It's a really neat thing because you've got like this big cliff face on this side. You can walk technically the entire way up. You can build into the mountain if you like stuff like that, if you want to live like a dwarf. And yeah, just a neat little area. Again, not my favorite on this island, but it's cool. The reason it's not my favorite is because I like building things like castles. So this castle over here, even though it's like busted and broken a little bit, I love when you can kind of like build up castles that were once inside of Ark and are no longer inside of Ark because apparently they've fallen to, dilapidation or whatever you want to call it. It's a fun spot to build. Now, obviously you can see that there's some neat stuff like silica pearls, some random things in here, but it's just being able to build in a pre-built structure like this, I think is super neat. And it's just fun. So 43.6, 86.9, the whole thing is buildable. It's just a fun area. You can have a drawbridge across, whatever you want to do. It's just a fun area. Build up the walls and have a true castle style build. I think stuff like that's fun. You can do whatever you want, but I think it's really cool. I wish they would do more stuff like this in their maps, but it is what it is. So now next up, this is actually what can commonly be referred to as Alpha Plat because on many official servers, large tribes will go to this area. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. Basically, once you get up to the top up here, not over there, over here, there is a massive swath of land, and it is just cliffs on all sides but one, and it's this right here. Now, this guy right here is commonly referred to as Alpha Plat. You can call it whatever you want, but it's a huge land, and it's perfectly flat for the entire area, and it's 45.7, 61.1, and the whole area is buildable. And because you've got some cool things like tree platforms and stuff like that, it gives you the ability to just have a gigantic base. Now, if you're a solo, this might be harder to fill out, but if you have a bunch of people, this can be a really neat base location just because of there's just so much stuff. There's so much space on this plateau. It is probably one of the biggest individual swaths of land that is kind of isolated from anything else because of the cliffs on all the sides, but it is worth it. It is a lot of fun. You have like this little walk up right there, and that's it. So it's a cool build. Plus you've got tree platforms, anything you could want over there for that. Now, next up, I'm not normally someone that recommends building in the desert, but there's a few really cool, I'm gonna go ahead and set time of day so we can see again. There's a few really cool locations that you can build over in the desert over here that are really neat. One is the floating plateau. It's up to you if you want to build in this, but I love it. Perfectly flat. I want to land on it so you can see what I'm talking about. Perfectly flat, completely isolated from touching anything else. So you can build some cool bridges and stuff like that. Nearby, you have a water source. You can clear the entire thing out, and it's literally just a completely flat area. And I don't know why I like doing that so much. I'm gonna go ahead and clear some of the stuff so you can see what I mean. So if you clear it out, it is just a flat. It's perfect for building. This is probably one of the best things that you can have in the entire map right here. 60.5, 58.9 in this location. It's just a great area to build. It's just a lot of fun. You got all the resources plus metal, plus silica pearls, everything you could need. Crystals over there. It's a great spot. Plus perfectly flat. You don't need much more room than that in PvE, honestly, unless you're going just for a massive build, but you know, it's up to you. Now, very similarly over in the, just like I said, there's a perfectly flat. This one's cool because you've got two perfectly flat sections, a bottom one and a top one. Now, it's bigger than the other one, so people will like it for that purpose. You have a water well up here, so you can drink water technically and have water access without having to route anything up from the bottom. And because, now the one thing that'll suck about this is sometimes you get some creatures that'll come off the mountain, and it can be a little bit more dangerous because they'll come down the mountain and kill your stuff. So you have to actually probably build a wall on that side. But the multiple layers, the 1 and the 2, is pretty neat. Plus you can kind of like build walls up here and make this part of your base and have that be your ceiling. There's a lot of really cool spots on this area at 68.2 and 60.8. And then the last spot in the desert that I'm going to show you is another castle. We know how much I love castles. They are 2 of them, one over there and then one over here. And then you can see there's a lot of cool things, like there's an observatory that you can build in. There's stairs that go down. It's just a cool area to build. I don't know why I like castles so much, but it's just, there's a lot of fun things that you can do with it. 71.4, 69.2. This whole thing is buildable. And there's some really cool rooms that are kind of like this that you can like decorate however you see fit, but it's just a cool spot to build. Now that pretty much shows everything that I enjoy building in the desert. We're going to skip over pretty much all of it because that's just, you know, what it is. There's a few more base locations left that I like to build in. I'm going to try and give you my favorites of them. This is the last cave one that I'm going to talk about, and it's very dangerous, this cave one. Reason being, this is a wyvern scar underneath you. You see them. But inside of this cave, entrance being at 70.3, 44.6, there are a ton of entrances inside of it. There are a bunch of really cool build locations. There is a couple of long pathways that kind of lead out to weird little offshoots, just like this right here. And yeah, you've got a ton of access to metal, you've got water, and then it opens up into a really big cave on the inside, just like you see over here. It is a really neat zone. Wyverns can get in here, so you're going to want to like put some walls up nearby. But it is a really cool zone to build because you just have a big space. Down beneath there is the wyvern scar, so just be aware of that. But if you put up a few walls and pillars and gate frames, you won't need to worry about anything, and it's not super bad. So you've got access to resources. You've got everything that you could need. I like the water plus the waterfalls, a lot of flat space. And it's just, I don't know, it's a unique, cool spot to build. I like building in places like this where you can like set up an area just to sit on the outside overlooking everything. I don't know why I think that's cool. I just do. So take that for what you will. All right, so that's that spot. Now that's pretty much the only spot. There's a lot of really good spots out on those islands out there. I'm not going to show you those because they're a little bit out of the way, and I've already shown you one island and they're all pretty much the same. So I'm not going to go super far over in depth into those. Now, the last major spot that I'm going to show you is basically right where we're heading right now. It's towards Green Ob. Now, the reason that I like Green Ob in general is because you can see my testing area off there to the left. The reason that I like green area or green knob so much is you can build on green knob here, and it's a really cool build. You can have green knob be the center of your build. It's a little bit laggy. I don't know why it's being so laggy, but you can build on the spire, and this whole area right here is a super buildable location. And just so you can see where green knob actually is, 57.1, 38.3, and it's just a fun area to build. I don't know why I like it so much. I just do. It's just a neat zone. Now, that being said, it's kind of open. So if you're like in a big PVE server, it's a little bit more difficult because people might be frustrated at you for building on the obelisk, but I like doing it. But if you're playing on your own too, I just like building near an obelisk. I don't know why, it just seems cool. And then you got access to water nearby. You've got a big lake over there. You've got resources. You've got big trees that you can harvest for a ton of wood. Just a really good overall base location. Plus the access, you're in the center of most of the map. So you can go over to the desert over there if you needed to. You can get up to the north. You can get over to the south. You can get over to the swamp caves all over to our left. It's just a good center of the map spot to be able to have access to. So now there are a ton more base locations over on Ragnarok, and obviously I went over way more than 10, so sorry about that. But there's just so many good locations on this map to build PvE bases. I didn't even really cover the whole left zone over there or the whole center canyon. The center canyon has a ton of spots to build. If I head over there now, it's going to be super laggy on my screen because for some reason, when I get near green knob, my computer like poops itself. But this is the canyon, and I can't even start to tell you how many cool buildable locations this place has. You can see one out in front, Gorge, just so you can see it. It's literally a canyon in the middle of the map. There are giant waterfalls. There are huge areas of just completely flat land. There are tons of caves on the sides of walls all over the place. You can see every waterfall pretty much has a cave nearby it, just like this one right here. Like the amount of area that you can build in this, and like every pillar and plateau is perfectly flat. This is like building dreams, right? Because you've got unique structures, you've got flat structures, you've got waterfalls, you've got weird tubes with unlimited water that goes down into them. This used to be an artifact location, but obviously it's no longer. It's just a great spot. So yeah, you should definitely take advantage of the canyon. And I'm not kidding. It's probably one of the best places to try and learn to build, because you can build on perfectly flat areas and then also build into these really neat spires and stuff like that. So definitely take advantage of it. So anyways, really cool place to build, but I'm not going to show you too much more because I want you to discover on your own. But hopefully these videos help you out. And if you don't mind, smash that like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm, and then consider subbing to the channel. All right, Teach. Out.